Listen to me, folks, please. It's so easy to be religious and to say, I love the Lord. Yes. And it's just words. What does that look like? If you really love the Lord, what does that look like? Well, I want to give you one example. He means more to you than your buddies. Yes. He means more to you than your hobbies. He means more to you than your habits. Loving the Lord is about priorities. It's about placing things in the right beseder, in the right order. And our priorities are right. It's one of the reasons why fasting can be so effective, is because it reminds us that the Lord is more important than the meal. Knowing that He hears you, knowing that He sees you, knowing that He's mindful of you, knowing that He looks at you and recognizes your love for Him becomes more important. Let me tell you something, He's jealous over you. I hope you hear me. He's jealous over you. He loves you so much. But what He wants more than anything else is to have fellowship with you and I as individuals. And He wants us to come to the place where we become as addicted to that experience, to that moment of fellowship and intimacy with Him, more addicted. It becomes more of a necessity to get along with Him. It becomes more of a necessity to hear His voice than to even hear your wife's voice or your husband's voice or your pastor's voice, to long to hear the voice of the bridegroom. Love is not something that you can just pull out of your heart. It's not something like a magic trick you can pull out of a hat. God is the author of love. The only way to overcome not loving one another is to draw closer to the Lord. He is love, amen? The closer we get to God, the more we'll love Him. The more we'll appreciate His love for us, and the more we will learn to love one another. The popular and the unpopular. Those in our clique and not in our clique. Those we get along good with and like to relax with, and those we don't like to relax with. We've got to love them anyhow. And it's not loving them in word that God is interested in. When we learn to love one another, it's not by word only, it's by deed. The love that God has toward us is perfected. It is matured as we learn to show that love one to another. And then that becomes perfect love. It becomes matured love. It becomes, I love you whether you love me or not. Why don't this little bride make up our mind? We're coming down off the gerbil wheel of performance. We're not going to try to compare our life with someone else, our family with someone else's family. We're going to try to fall so in love with our bridegroom that He matters more than possessions. He matters more than fancy trips. He's everything.